Myths about rats, mice, and baiting traps. Well, the first thing you might think now that you've clicked on this video is, what does this guy know about mice and rats? Why should we be listening to you? Well, I'll just do this real quick, a little background. From the time I was in 5th grade till I graduated high school, I raised mice and rats for pet stores. At my height, I was distributing to about a dozen stores at the same time. And I'm not talking, I just had a cage of rats and a cage of mice. The house we lived in had 3 bedrooms upstairs and 1 down. I was the only kid. I had all 3 bedrooms upstairs. One of them I slept in. One of them had the dartboard, air hockey table and stuff in. And the 3rd bedroom was nothing but cages. I, on average, had about 1,000 rodents at a time. Mass quantities, yes. Lots. Up until I graduated, I had the time to do it, and then I had to get a job. So I quit doing it. But all through high school, I also did, actually in 6th grade, here's a picture of me in the school paper. Means I had all these animals. I did lots of science projects for classes. And here's me as the winner of the 6th grade division of our science fair. One person in each grade got to be in the paper for the best science project. Well, yep, that's me right there back in 1988. After that, in high school, I did other science projects and also in the grammar classes where you had to write reports and stuff. I did different things on mice and rats. So basically, plainly, I have a higher knowledge of the behavior of mice and rats than your average Joe. I'm not proclaiming to be an expert, but I do know a little bit more than your average Joe. So with that, let's just get right down to the first and biggest myth. And I get lots of comments. If you're subscribed to my channel, you know I do videos on bait and traps and how to make some live traps and different modifications and stuff to mice and rat traps. One of the biggest myths I get, people like, you got to wear rubber gloves when you bait the trap. You got to use a new trap after you kill a mouse or a rat. That is a great big no. And if you leave a comment down below, oh, that's not true, you got to wear gloves and use new... I'm sorry, that is not true. You don't believe me, look it up. A mouse and a rat, they're stupid. I mean, that's the basic way to put it. That's why they breed so fast. They are not that intelligent at all. Another thing about the scent, a rat will eat another dead rat, or a rat will eat another dead mouse. A mouse is hungry enough, it'll eat a dead mouse. I mean, you can do some searches on Google for pictures. You can find pictures of a mouse mating with a dead mouse that's got its head caught in a mouse trap. So if you think the scent is going to keep the mouse or rat away, that's another thing I did a project on in high school. I baited different traps, and then I did different things, like I smeared them with cat pee, or I peed on them, or I rubbed them under my armpits. Basically, the only thing I didn't do with the snap trap was put it between my butt cheeks and let it fart. I scented them all kinds of different ways, and the traps that had nothing put on them compared to the traps that did were all relatively got the same amount of kills in the same amount of time. Scent affecting your mouse trap? No. I've got rat traps I've been using for 2-3 years, and they still get rats every day or two. So don't believe that. Next myth. Well, I got a cat now. I don't have rats or mice anymore. Once again, the scent. No. What is happening is you have a cat that actually eats the entire mouse. I would have to say only about 25% of cats will eat the entire mouse. Most cats will eat part of it, but a lot of them won't eat the head. Some of them won't eat the tail. But yes, some cats will eat the whole mouse. Now, cats generally do most of their hunting at night when you're sleeping, or if you've got the chains drawn and you're gone and not at home, that's when they get in the counters and everywhere they know they're not supposed to when you're there. That's why you're not finding mice and rats, or By the time you got a cat, well, the traps had gotten rid of them all. All right, next myth. Cheese is the best thing to use on a mousetrap. Mice and rats going nuts over cheese started in the cartoons. It is not true. Yes, you put cheese on a mouse trap or a rat trap, you will catch mice and rats. They do not go crazy over it, however. That was something started in the cartoons, and this was even before the Tom and Jerry cartoons. This started way back whenever. But the Tom and Jerry, and then, no, I remember when I was a kid, there was that Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger, the one rat character on there went nuts for cheese. That's just in the cartoons. It's not real. You could put peanut butter on the trap, and actually peanut butter and cheese, I recommend in one of my other videos, don't use either of them. Hot glue gun, some whole kernel corn or breakfast cereal or piece of candy, or dog food and cat food to your trap, it's going to work better because, number one, you're not going to come and find the trap lick clean. If you hot glue gun the bait to the trap plate, they are most likely going to set the trap off. It's much better chance. So, all right, next myth. Another myth I've heard a few times before is that you can only use traps to get rid of rats. Number one, my big outdoor cat gets rats quite often. He is exceptionally bigger than your standard cat. He's just one big ball of muscle. He's well fed, but he brings up a rat now and then. I've even had the indoor cats get a younger rat once. I don't generally get the rats in the house, but I do keep chickens. I have lots of feed around, and that does attract rodents. That's why I have 5 cats and all kinds of traps all over. If you can't just rely on the cats, you can't just rely on the traps. When you got chickens or other livestock, you gotta have everything. And that's why there is another thing you can use against rats. And you go out and buy this animal called a rat terrier. It has that name for a reason. It's this little tiny dog, and they go after rats. They kill them, and they'll eat them just like a cat will eat a mouse. It is a more expensive animal. Granted, you can drive around the country and find a cat for free, or go down to your local shelter and get a certain breed of cat. It's going to cost you $100 or so. Rat terrier, yeah, it's going to cost you a couple $100. But with just a little bit of training, they are going to go after the rats. They will cut down the population big time, and on a cold evening, they'll help keep you warm in bed. Them are the most common myths that I hear on my YouTube videos and when talking to people. Once again, I'm not an expert. Maybe you've heard a myth or something, want to leave a comment below. But a lot of what I went over, if you don't believe me, you can look it up, and it's actually proven. Especially, you don't have to wear the rubber gloves to bait your traps and buy a new trap every time you get. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Mice and rats are stupid. They are not that intelligent, and that's why they breed in such large numbers. All right, I think I've rambled on long enough. Like I said, if you think of something else I didn't cover, leave a comment below, and if I get a few comments on some other myths, maybe I'll do a part 2 to this. So thanks for joining us here today. Have a great day, and I hope you catch more mice and rats.